Alrighty then, guys. On today's episode of the Cryptoverse, we're going to be talking about the new news out of the Federal Reserve that they're going to basically create $625 billion of new money to buy assets on the stock market and keep it inflated. So let's break this down. First of all, everyone seems to be going mental on Twitter about this video that's being posted around from the 60-minute episode. If you scroll down my Twitter feed, this is the video in question. Everyone seems to be retweeting this. Look, it comes up time and time and time again. As you scroll, more people are posting it. Let's just find one more. Trust me, there's lots and lots of people that are posting it. Anyway, so let's go back to the top and actually play this clip to see what the guy says.
The financial system, and
Let me play again.
You don't need to. Your ATM is safe, your banks are safe, there's enough cash in the financial system, and there is an infinite amount of cash at the Federal Reserve. We will do whatever we need to do to make sure that there's enough cash in the banking system.
There you go, infinite amount of cash. So that's the setup. That comes along right with this news story that I tweeted out. The stimulus plan for the virus bill fails in the Senate in a procedural vote. So basically the Democrats were saying, nah, the proposal is too much like a corporate bailout and not much of a bailout for the average American. So that's that. Now the S&P 500 reacted to this. So this is the long-term bull market of the S&P. This is a Fibonacci retracement line, and this is the weekly chart where it's already breaking down below the 38.2% level. But if we look at today's reaction to the news, yeah, it gapped down and it's continuing to fall. So we're down 2.6% on the day from the open, but it's worse than that because you have to measure it from yesterday's close. It's more like 2.63%. So Fed stimulus, there's the reaction from the S&P 500, done the Twitter video, and then in terms of where the data comes from, Zero Hedge is always reliable for this one. Unprecedented intervention, the Fed will purchase $125 billion in securities every day. So that basically breaks down here. They'll purchase $75 billion in treasuries, an additional $50 billion in BMS. That's, what do they call that? It's like mortgage-backed securities things. So they'll do that every day, $125 billion, which, like Zero Hedge is pointing out, if you multiply that by 7 or over a week, it's like $625 billion that the Fed will be purchasing every single week, which they point out is more than the Fed's entire quantitative easing 2 campaign that was just over $500 billion in purchases over 7 months. So get that. $500 billion in asset purchases over 7 months, and now they're going to do more than that every 7 days. That's staggering. So that's why I've called this particular episode of the Cryptoverse, the Fed primes the pump for hyperinflation. Goodness me. So what they're going to do, they're going to get all the assets though, aren't they? The Fed, the ownership of the assets is going to be transferred to the Federal Reserve, and then cash is going to come out. So if you're the average citizen that owns the stock, the share, the treasury, whatever it is that you are selling on the markets, right? That's going to go, the ownership is going to be transferred to the Federal Reserve, and they're going to give you cash in exchange. Well, that's the wealth transfer, because cash is not wealth. Assets are wealth. So that's dumb, right? To sell your assets to the Fed. Now you'd be forgiven for selling them to the Fed because if prices are going down, people panic sell. They don't want their wealth to evaporate. Oh, super chat coming in. Oh, big one from Marinestu. Thank you very much for that. £20 super chat and takes the Stream Boss crown. Thanks very much for that. Appreciate it. Appreciate it very much. So that's that. Finally, this is where, let's transition to crypto. I picked out a tweet from Saifedean Ammous, the author of The Bitcoin Standard, one of the best books on crypto you will ever read. And he says here, this is why all complaints about Bitcoin speed or capacity are ridiculously short-sighted. Even at a tenth of its current speed and capacity, Bitcoin is still the only net neutral money system available. Unlike government fiat, a free market or capital can be built on top of Bitcoin. Now, I'm going to take the ball there and say, what you could do, and I've been tweeting about this, you could set all asset and commodity prices on the global market in BTC. And then you'd have a global non-government currency to trade against. Now, the transaction speed on like Malarkey, 3 or 4 transactions a second, right? You wouldn't need that, right? You'd need one transaction per day to settle, right? So you can do all of the trades on exchanges off-chain, essentially, on the New York Stock Exchange or the CME or whatever. And then at the end of the day, you do one big Bitcoin transaction to settle whatever the balance is between the various exchanges and assets and so on. So that's my view on that. So that's pretty much it for today. I was just going to do a little short video update. Want to keep these little market updates short and precise. So that's all I've got for you for now. I might be back tomorrow with another one. So until then, it's me, Chris Coney, saying bye for now.